Well, I need to welcome you back, and we're still with the big story for today. And we're looking at the issue of budget padding, and not just what transpired, or rather has generated a whole lot of controversy starting from Saturday, but also what transpired yesterday on account of the suspension of Ningi, the senator from Bauchi Central that raised the whole lot of dust that seem not to have settled yet. But the suspension is one part of it, and many are also seeking for his apology, indicating that he misinformed the general public and was just raising unnecessary tension between the North and the presidency. But anyway, it's not mine to discuss alone. I still have both of my guests. I'm talking of no other person but Mr. Frank Osia, all the way from Abuja, and also in the studio, Comrade FM&TV. But what we'll do now, our usual routine, let's go get that message from our sponsors, and when we come back, more discussion centered on the big story for today.
Follow the road, auto better quality. If you dey talk gas matter, follow Benetta. Gas with the better quality. Benetta gas where they full rich man. Na Benetta gas. Delivery brother na sharply. Benetta gas. Benetta gas no mago. Na Benetta gas. Different type of gas cylinder. Benetta gas we go last you well. Na Benetta gas. Benetta now do Benetta gas service in a them they run Benetta gas make you carry go
for gas matter and home delivery. Make a wire Benetta gas plant for 080-6745-7890 and 080-5904-7722. Benetta gas plant, the etequele of gas matters.
It's colorful, so colorful, wow! It's Oza Furniture and Interior Merchant, a leading name for luxurious furniture at Ultra Modern Super Showroom. Well stocked is now located near you for the sales and installation of long-lasting exotic and quality interior and exterior furniture for your living space, such as foreign Turkey royal chairs and sofas, glass, wooden and marble royal dining tables and chairs, conference tables and chairs, executive office tables, reception tables, orthopedic office chairs, etc. Oza Furniture and Interior Merchant has in stock royal king size and queen size beds, wardrobes, mirror consoles, wall frames and artworks for decoration, wine bars, big TV shelves and TV stands, gym equipment like motorized gym bicycles, gaming chairs, treadmills, outdoor swing chairs, etc. All at affordable prices. We deliver with our vehicles. To make your home that cozy paradise, locate our super showroom along DSC Expressway opposite Platinum Banquet Place, beside Ugboloposo Junction, Efru, Delta State. Or call 0806-394-3198 or 0703-368-7179. Uzo Furniture and Interior Merchant for comfortable home interior furniture experience.
Well, anyways, a sad experience for no other but Senator Ningi yesterday when he was given the boot. 3 months it is, without pay. That's a suspension notice on him for that weighty allegation he made on Saturday while speaking to, or rather having an interview section with the BBC House of Service, where he made that weighty allegation that 3.7 trillion was inserted into the 2024 budget, not what was approved, which was 25 trillion. And not only that, but he felt that the budget was fashioned against the North, and all of that raised a whole lot of dust. But anyway, as much as the dust seems to be settling, let's come back to you, Comrade FM&TV. Let's look at the suspension. Many are already coming out to kick against that suspension. And the kick, I mean, many feel that suspension is more like a slap on the wrist of Senator Ningi. They feel 3 months is not enough, knowing about the magnitude of that weighty allegation against the presidency. Now, for me, I want to ask you that question. Do you feel 3 months suspension is in order, or you feel different about it? And the reason I ask, let's take our mind back to 2002. The then Senator late Otto Nzeribe was suspended indefinitely on allegation of just 22 million naira fraud.
Which was very big money then.
Which was big indeed, but he was suspended on account of that. But my question now is, 3 months, is it enough? Or do you feel it's just a slap on the wrist and telling Ningi, go, recoup, and come back and see no more?
Mike, this is a question of two answers. You see, it's like when you say is a country overpopulated or underpopulated, you can have 1 million people in 1 square kilometer area with
And
enormous.
it's
It's even underpopulated because enormous resources. You see, but you can have very scanty people with no resources. Plenty people, no resources.
Okay, let's leave the population.
Let's come back to this main issue.
Is a chairman of that very committee on population. But let's
come back to the main issue now. That 3 months may be too much for him. It may not be enough. He made an allegation. That is
on your own ground. Do you feel the 3 months is in order, or it's a bit?
That is. That's why I say it's a two-way answer.
Okay.
If the guy actually erred, then it's not enough. If actually he erred, he said it because his demand was scratching him, then that 3 months is not enough. He also needs an unreserved apology.
Which they said he should tender.
Yes. They told him to do it. Has he done it?
No, not yet.
That's another issue. Because he's still feeling that he's still within what he's saying. He has confidence in what he's saying. That's the meaning if he refuses to apologize. And that is why I said, did they investigate that statement? Did they investigate him? Did they set up a committee to actually hear him out? Was he suspended in a haste? Was anybody actually after him or he was after somebody?
But sir, he made an allegation that he has not brought evidence to prove. We've not seen any evidence. He only said, well, 3.5 or 3.7 trillion was inserted into the.
It's still not enough.
Is it enough to just say without bringing evidence to show? Which not.
If that is why they should still investigate him, why he made that statement, and give him a stiffer penalty. A stiffer penalty. You cannot be crying wolves when there is no wolf, and you expect everyone to look at you and just say, okay, allow him, it is his nature. No. My friend, he said, before you were able to make this, were you joking? He said, yes, I was joking. If you are joking, let the whole world know you are joking. Then give him a stiffer penalty. You tell him to go for 3 months without pay. How much is he pay for the 3 months? Compared to what
but he said he doesn't know the pay of the Senate President and his deputy. He said so yesterday.
What concerns him about that one?
Senate President know his pay.
What concerns him about the pay of the Senate President? Senate President will be paid according to the law that befits his nomenclature. He should talk about his own, not the Senate President's salary. He has got no business with it at all. So if they say they are suspending him for 3 months without pay, the guy will not feel it. He has enough. If you are in the Senate for 1 year, do you know what you want? As 3 years, constructive project alone, do you know how much you are?
Having 3 months taken away from that is also something reasonable.
That is what, look, if you go to the Atlantic Ocean and you remove 10 drums of water and you say that you have done something in the Atlantic, what have you done? You have just ended up punishing yourself. So that's why
I asked, is this enough?
It is. That is why I said, if actually he meant that statement, then it's not enough. Then the Senate should have even gone further to give him other punishments that would deter others from making frivolous statements. Because this thing can set the nation on fire.
Most certainly.
Well, it's only that we're in Nigeria where we look at everything, we take them with levity. I beg, leave and not be today start. If this thing happened in some countries, there will have been fire by now. Before you now start explaining to them that, no, I just said it to, I didn't mean it to, I don't have any proof. Because why he made that statement, if my mind is thinking rightly, is when the last administration was in office, there was a situation like this. When Mr. President told the EU to focus their development in the north. You remember? Now, another person from another divide is there. The man will also be thinking that, oh, since we did this to these people, possibly they're also going to do it to us. So let me cry wolf in advance, so that if I thought there is anything like that, it can be nipped in the bud. That's another angle to it. That is why they will have listen to him, hear him out, even if it is in a closet, and come out with a proper recommendation. You cannot just say, okay, you have said it, what you have said is wrong, we are giving you 3 months without pay. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Tomorrow somebody else does it, and you give him 6 months, he will tell you, no, is it because of me? Is it because I'm not from this side of the country? Or is it because of my tribe or nature? Why did you do this to me? No. Let the Senate be up and doing.
So, but is it normal to have suspension go on voting? Because that's what transpired yesterday.
They must vote.
On the months that he should be suspended.
Yes, because it's no longer one person's decision anymore. Okay. Mr. Senate President cannot take that unilateral decision. Okay. They will accuse him of bias.
Voice vote is enough.
Exactly. Voice vote is enough. Do you want him suspended for what he has done? Yes. who are in support of the suspension. What of you, some people just say yes. You know, at times we like talking, but we don't like to show our faces. If everybody chorus, yes, okay. If you are in support, show your hand. And you are looking at the man's face. If I raise my hand, I will say that I'm against him. Nobody will do that. But if you actually show that this man should be suspended, then come out and put your action into vote. And that was what they did. So the Senate has not erred in that. Okay, now, for everything in the Senate, especially the lawmaking bodies, it is by voting. Okay,
now let's look at it. Because my next question to follow that is, okay, yes, he came out yesterday immediately after the suspension and resigned as the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum. And said he was going. He doesn't want to do anymore. And just like I said, he was also told to apologize. But my question now, do you see him, after apologizing, being reinstated, being called back? Because the reason I asked, let's also look at the utterance of the Senate President yesterday. After that stormy section, all he said, we should look as if we are one indivisible house. That's very important.
That's a clause.
That's very important for the well-being of the country. So don't you see him now apologizing and being called back? Because there's every tendency that the Senate President is also ready to pacify those senators from the North, knowing how heated and how aggrieved and how the feeling of being marginalized is coming from that section. So don't you see him apologizing and being recalled back in no time soon? Not going on the full 3-month suspension.
They have to complete the 3 months. The apology they asked him to tender is not because of the 3-month suspension. It's because he has changed the name of the Senate. He has dragged the federal government into the mud.
But if you apologize and say, sorry,
the apology is to retract the statement. It's not to reduce the sentence.
So you don't see him being called back anytime soon?
No, he has to complete that is a tenure of suspension. He has to complete it if they want the rule of law to actually hold. Because the Senate President is not supposed, is the father of the lawmaking in the country. He has both Senate and the House of Reps. So he cannot be seen to make a pronouncement today, tomorrow he swallows it. It does not tell well on his integrity. Mr. President has done well by listening to the voice of the people and the man is suspended. Unless, of course, the House will have to sit down again and vote that it should be reinstated. It should be reinstated, which is not too near now. And for people to start insinuating that he wants to pacify the senators from the North. No. Nigeria as at today is one entity and will remain a one entity. Anything that happens to a senator in the North can also affect a senator in the South, East or West. Anyhow you look at it.
So just like Oshomola said yesterday, Senator Oshomola.
Exactly.
There is a senator from Nigeria and not from the South.
Exactly. I mean, when you go outside the country and you present your passport,
so would it not be right on that account that he is a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? He erred and he apologized, knew he was wrong, and he now reinstated.
No. Can you tell me today that an armed robber will apologize that I'm sorry for stealing and killing? Then you said, okay, let him go? No. The law should be seen to be taking its course. You know the difference between Africa and Europe? In Europe, they respect their laws. In the Western world, let me not narrow it to Europe. They respect their laws. But here, we respect our government. That is the problem, the bane of our development. If this man erred, and they know quite well that they erred, of course, they know he erred. That was why they suspended him. I am not going to pass judgment here. But since they suspended because he erred, the man should serve the punishment. If you don't, it is going to form a yardstick. It's going to form a base for another person to do same and say you also have to forgive. I cannot go and even slap the Senate President on his seat and apologize. I'm sorry, I didn't know why I did it. Oh, he has apologized. Let us forgive him.
Well, but depending on the slap, though. Okay, sorry.
I mean,
anyway, let's leave where you slap him, how you slap him. Now, let's also remain with the issue of Senator Abdul Ningi. Yes, I do know he was suspended on account of the weighty allegation he laid. But just like you said, should we throw away the baby and the bathwater?
We should not.
Because that very allegation raised a whole lot of dust. Exactly. And one of those dust is that 500 million was awarded to ranking and senior senators, and also the duplication of constituency project in the 17 billion naira constituency project scam. It's now turning out to be like that. So let's understand it. Yeah, they've suspended him.
Yes.
But should we not now sit down and investigate all those things that came out on account of it? Because let's listen to what Senator Jarigbe said yesterday when he said, well, for me, I got how much? My constituency project was just 100 million or less than how many million, but some other places they got up to more than $1 billion. So let's look at all of this. Should those allegations be levied against the high-ranking Senate or senator?
Swept under the carpet?
They swept under the carpet because he was finally suspended, or should a further investigation be done on account to unroot
the hidden facts?
The hidden facts behind these 500 million are awarded to rankings in...
You see, Mike, you're not coming back to what I said earlier. You're coming back to what I said earlier. Probe every matter to the bottom, you will find a skeleton. It's one of the things I watched in the past. The Senator, I don't know whether you know that film. This man has made an allegation. And I will continue to say it times with that number. You cannot just suspend the man and say the matter is over. There are other things that are attached to that. And the only problem we are now having is who is going to set up that panel that will investigate those people when they are all in the race together. Who is going to do the investigation? I cannot investigate you as my career.
Can't you have a private, different
if you have a private investigation
by the CSOs?
They can, but whom are they submitting their reports to?
They can bring up a white paper and submit to the general public, read it out, and give it to the police and the required agencies. We have the EFCC, we have the ICPC.
Yes, and do you think who controls the EFCC, who controls the ICPC, who controls the...
By the Constitution, they seem to have their own powers, but they are under the Attorney General of the Federation.
Who controls the Attorney General?
Well, anyways,
let's leave those ones. Let's leave those ones. The panel, the only way for these people to exonerate themselves is one. This man, what did you say happened in that budget? I said this. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't say it again. You have given a lead question and an answer. Let this panel be constituted. If they are clean, they can set up the panel on their own, investigate on their own, come out with a report. If their hands are clean, or definitely, Nigeria, we are in a world of technology today. Whatever that happens in the closest, in the next 5 seconds, it is in the public domain. So, the only way to cleanse themselves is to set up that panel and investigate those. And as far as somebody has said, I got something, which means actually there was something, irrespective of the volume of the transaction that took place. Once you have established that, then build on that. And number two, why is it that these people are actually entitled to a constituency project? They are lawmakers, they are not contractors. Why do you give somebody 2 positions and billions on the road that don't even have 20 naira to feed on in a day? You are giving so much for constitutional project. Constituency project. How many of these projects have been executed? I have seen a project where the guy used plywood to build a bridge across the river and went and commissioned it. I said it's one of the constituency projects. You come and you start buying and distributing rice and bicycles to people. That's not a constituency project. We were talking about a project. You have this is a project. This edifice we are. If this can be done by a man, a single man with his head-end resources, why can't the government that is at mercy with excess funds not do 50 times of this? Do you think if every senatorial district have three visible projects, the country will not be better off? Why don't you also think that if you're part of constituency project is to bring light to your area, is it not a development? Now, in this Delta South, we have 3 major groups here. If you now bring IPP into this 3, don't you think that as a constituency project, don't you think it's better than you distributing bag of rice at the end of the year? How long will that one carry you? You now give bag of rice, maybe you attach 10,000, 15,000 to it and say, oh, but if you reach there, everybody 2 pesos to 1 bag, and the man spent money. Which money has he spent? You have only spent money based on revenue issues. You have not done anything on capital issue. And by the time you continue spending on revenue without record to capital, you are further sinking the economy. We should think along that line. If you are giving this constituency project, don't just say because if everybody is entitled to 200 million, give everybody 200 million. Submit your plan for that project you want to execute. Then let them look at it. My friend, this thing cannot go. My friend, this thing cannot go. Then by the time they now come with cogent projects, now bring in all these independent investigators like Budget and this and that and co. this is the consortium project that has been given to these people. Then they follow them up. But nobody does that. At the end of the day, they not just maybe during Christmas something like I said earlier, they come and say, oh boy, Ogade Arando. More than 1 million people are in his compound. You are living, they say, he dropped 5 million for 5 million! Eh. Share that 5 million between the people that came. How much will each person go home with? And by the time you go home with even 10,000 naira each, can that one feed you for 2 days in the Nigerian economy of today? So we have a lot of things to do. Let the government actually segregate contractors from lawmakers. Let us separate them. It does not mean that because somebody will help you to become what you are as a political office holder, everything should go to that person. No. Everybody has their own different roles to play. Now you give somebody a road construction work. He knows nothing about road. He will also go and contract it to somebody. He will remove his own. That person will look, okay, this person is my godfather. He will also go and bring in a contractor. At the end of the day, you have whittled down that money to an amount that is not manageable anymore. Then you have to do a shabby job for the person. I like what is happening in the Nugeli environment now. I don't know whether it's a consortium project or it's the governor's project directly. They are cutting off the auto with the roundabout from the main traffic now. Before you get to around Wasco Oil, the road is linking that place to Iede. Then from Stadium, it's linking it to Agbara. Then on the left-hand side, that one is cutting it off to Oviri. Those are the projects we want to be seeing. Not giving me a 1/4 bag of rice. I've gotten it before, a 1/4 bag of rice.
And you bought it yourself?
No.
Oh, you're given?
No, I was given, so I have benefited from a consortium project. You see, it is time we overcome all this type of things. So what Ningi said is just busting the thoughts of so many people that nobody has been able to see. They should not just throw it under the carpet and say suspend that man. If they probe this matter to the bottom, you will be so surprised what you will hear and the type of heads that will roll.
But anyway, we'll not roll our head away from it or stop talking about it, but rather we'll just roll and go and get a break. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion as we look at the purported suspension of Abdul Ningi, the senator representing Bauchi South Central, on account of allegation he said recently on BBC House's service on Saturday, to be precise, when he said that the budget had about 3.7 trillion inserted into it by the presidency. And not only that, but the budget was positioned against the North. And they seem to be on the disadvantage point. But not disadvantage, say let's need to go on a break. And when we come back, more discussion centered on the big story for today.